my name is Reagan. In today's video, I'm going to be turning emojis into illustrations. I had you guys give me emojis to turn into illustrations. This is my third time doing so, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let's get into it. For the first emojis, we have clapping hands, a skull, and a man. For this picture, I was kind of confused at first. I used a number generator to decide which one I was picking for this picture, and I got clapping hands, a skull, and a man. And at first, I was really confused. I was like, how in the world would I use clapping hands, a skull, and a man? I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And then I thought of kind of like Spanish dancing, because often they would be like clapping. At least I'm pretty sure, because I think it's Spanish dancing. I don't completely know, but I decided to make him like clapping and give him like a skull mask. I was gonna go more kind of like a sugar skull mask, but I ended up not completely doing that. And of course I drew a guy because I was given a man emoji. Oh, also here's my little inspiration board, my reference board. I was looking at this while making the picture. I do end up straying away from this later, but I'll talk about that more later. At first, I kind of liked the picture, but I wasn't completely liking it once I started doing the line art. The sketch I feel like looked okay, because often for sketches, I don't care if they're not perfect, and like if it's kind of the idea, I'm like, yeah, it's fine. But I ended up rushing the line art because one of the pictures, I was spending a really long time on it and was really trying to make sure it looked good. So this picture got kind of rushed. Part of me wishes I didn't rush it because I feel like it made the picture look kind of sloppy. At some point, I'll probably just redraw this picture because I had a certain perspective in mind, but I ended up doing a more straight on perspective and it ended up just not looking quite right. Should have done like a thumbnail or something of more of a perspective I was wanting, which by no means do I hate the picture. I just don't feel like it's the best I could do. Mostly because I don't like how his body turned out. I feel like I messed up drawing it. His torso looks kind of wider than it should be, and his hands turned out bad. I don't really like how his hands turned out, but I do like how his mask looks. I do think the picture overall, I like the concept of it. It's just the execution wasn't really good. It's almost like I needed to just spend more time on it. For the colors in this picture, I really wanted to stick with more that were kind of like purpley, blues, that kind of area. And I did add a little bit of green. All the coloring was also kind of difficult. I think it's because I was rushing it. Almost all of this picture was rushed, except for most of the sketch. I had fun coloring the shirt though. I ended up using the blending tool, which I like almost never use the blending tool, but I decided to use it for some reason, and I was really enjoying using it. I might use this more in the future. It was just really nice to use. I didn't realize the effects I was wanting in the color could be achieved with the blending tool. And also in this picture, he's being kind of backlit. I was trying to give like a cool lighting situation. I was originally wanting to kind of look like he was like on stage, or there was like stage lights while he was like dancing, but I ended up going with him being out like outside and almost looking like there was a window for inside, and that he's like on a balcony. And the reason I thought of this was because I put a bright blue light behind him, and I thought it kind of looked like a moon because it was a very light color. So I made it nighttime, and I had a warm lighting on his other side. So I ended up going with that nighttime idea. My younger sister also thought that seemed cool. I had this brush for railing, and I dragged in a nighttime sky from Clip Studio Paint. I did end up changing the moon to a full moon though, instead of a crescent moon that they had. And I added some more lighting on. I also added some more lighting on the top of his hand to try to like fix that a bit. I also added on some colors onto his mask, kind of to go back to that sugar skull inspiration, which it doesn't end up looking like super sugar skull like, but it was just kind of inspired by those. And I also added on some more add glow and shadows, and I added on a motion blur to make it look like maybe he was more of dancing and there was more like motion and movement, and also because usually I like to add blur anyways. And I also added on these shiny little orb things because I thought it made it look a little more interesting. And the this is how the picture turned out. I feel like it looked okay. I kind of liked it more now that I added on all the effects. I kind of like it. I do wish I didn't rush it though. I probably will redraw this at some point in the future, but it's not horrible. I still like it. The next emojis are a mouse or a rat, cheese, and a canoe. I drew this picture because I wasn't super pleased with how the other one was looking. So I was like, oh, I need to make something else so that I have at least another thing I like. And just 2 pictures didn't seem like enough art to me for some reason. So I decided to make another picture. I ended up choosing these emojis. I was up late and I was just like talking to my sister-in-law choosing emojis, and I'll just come across random ones. And because I was tired, I ended up doing like a little mouse in a boat with like cheese, which I probably would come out with something similar, but like he has a little story going for him, which you can see that I'd have a poorly drawn little sketch from earlier. It was just really messy. It was something I drew while I was talking to my sister-in-law, and I was just being tired and like drawing it just because I thought it was funny. And I was like using my mouse. I was like, oh yeah, he has a cheese boat. His boat was originally made out of cheese, but then it became a normal boat. Then he just had a boat full of cheese, and I gave him a little hat. And he's bringing cheese home to his 100 children. Okay, because I was tired, I said he had 100 children, which I ended up learning at some point. Mouses don't have that many babies at a time. They have like up to 15 kids at a time, and this guy has 100 of them. But at some point while I was bored talking about it, the little mouse, I decided that he might actually own like an orphanage. I'm gonna stop calling him just the little mouse because I accidentally named the file Moses instead of mouse. So this little mouse's name is Moses. He's Moses the mouse, and he's bringing cheese to the orphan children at his orphanage, and his wife is also at an orphanage taking care of these orphan children, and he's providing food for these little orphan children, and he's bringing them cheese because they're hungry, they need cheese, and he's providing food for them. And he has a little hat. But anyways, I'm gonna start talking about the picture, not just the idea of him. Anyways, I really like how the style of this looks. It's a very cute, simple style. I like how I made the line art be like the shadows almost. Like I gave him highlights with the line art and shadows with like the line art too, which I think it looks really cute. And he's just like, I also love how the cheese looks. I feel like the cheese looks really good. And I also like how I did the line art on his tail and on his head. I just really like the picture. It's simple and cute, but I really, really like it. And I feel like he just looks so cute. And I love how his little hands turned out. I kind of stylized his hands more because technically his hands aren't realistic. Like mouses and rats have like much more like grabby looking hands. I also did end up giving him a hat. He didn't have it for a while. I ended up giving it back to him because I thought he needed the hat, and I thought it seemed interesting. And also, instead of a normal oar, I gave him a spoon because I thought that looked really cute. The background's also pretty messy. I just did some grass with the blending tool and like painted tons of grass, and I also put some grass in the foreground, so up close to us. It made it super dark. Then added some sort of filter to it, which made it a bit more messy and kind of blurry looking, and added more details to the water. And I feel like he turned out super cute. I absolutely love him. Moses is so cute, and he's gonna go bring some food to his orphan children, to the orphan children. I don't know if he has any children of his own, or if he just has tons of orphans that he like watches. I don't really know, but at some point I want to draw a little picture of him like bringing cheese to all the orphan children. It's gonna be so cute. I don't know if he has any children of his own or like what. I don't completely know, but either way, I really, really like this one. I feel like it turned out so cute, and I love the simple but painty style, but like the line art makes it more clean. Yeah, I just really like it. For this picture, the emojis are a side-eye emoji, a mirror, and sunflowers. Now, originally, I was doing a more serious looking picture when she's like looking over to the side and is very serious, and I was kind of taking inspiration from those selfies when you just see the girl in the mirror, when people have like their phone out of frame, you just see them in a mirror and like there's flowers all around. I don't know if I can find a picture like that, but I could try to. And I drew this originally, but I wasn't quite liking it because it just looked like a painting, not exactly a mirror. So I decided to add on a girl like in front of it, but the perspective perspective to me seemed pretty boring. So I ended up just restarting and just grabbing a different canvas and just using that as my inspiration concept picture, which I ended up changing the perspective more and made it so we can see like the back of her more and you can see her reflection, which I am not going to follow the emojis completely, which is I am failing the challenge by doing this, but this picture is kind of me killing two birds with one stone because I'm going to enter this into a little art competition thing or a little talent competition thing, which I'm not going to talk about too much, and I'm drawing this picture with the intentions of entering it because it is just a picture I was making for YouTube, but I decided to kill two birds with one stone and ended up getting rid of that one emoji because I wanted this picture to feel more me and have this be more my usual pictures and pictures that make me like more happy and just make it a picture I enjoy more. So instead of having her looking off to the side being all moody and stuff, I decided to have her look at herself like fondly, which I'm going to write a little Bible verse on her mirror and I'm going to put I am fearfully and wonderfully made, referring to how God has made all of us and we are beautiful in his eyes and that we are made beautifully and perfectly because he made us and loves us so deeply. And in this picture she is finally getting just a glimpse of how God sees her, which is something like for this picture is a little more like personal to me because that was something I really struggled with, but I wanted to make it a little more personal of a picture and I was kind of thinking about myself learning how God sees me and understanding that, and when you finally look at yourself and you're like, you know what, I'm okay. That's what I was trying to show in the picture. So you have her reflection and she's looking at herself, and I ended up putting her hand kind of on the, I don't know what to call this, a little table that she has by the mirror. I'm also going to put some sunflowers on the side of her and give some sunflowers because that's sunflower emojis. And I'm also going to put a small marker on her desk, but that's going to be like way later. And also sorry that the writing I put for the Bible verse is wrong. The number is wrong. It's supposed to be 139 verse 14, but for some reason I do the wrong number because I saw it, or like some other lines were overlapping it, which I ended up writing it wrong. So sorry it ends up sitting wrong for a while, but I do fix it in the end. And for her little outfit, I gave her a little puff sleeves outfit and like a little pearl necklace. I just gave her a little cute outfit because I really like puff sleeves and kind of dresses like this. I just absolutely love them, and I thought a little pearl necklace would be a cute little detail because it's a little more simple. I didn't want to do like a chain necklace. I wanted to do a little like pearl choker, which I feel like is kind of cute. I really like it. And for her hair, I did just a short bob that's kind of like puffy and curly. Not exactly curly, more of wavy, and I gave her some bangs that parted. And this is a picture I really took my time on that made all the other pictures be very rushed because I spent a really long time on this picture trying to make sure it looked good. And also when I was drawing this picture, I was kind of like in a slight art rut in a way. I don't know if you can exactly say that. It's almost like because I went from making something that was already important, which I made in my last video if you want to watch that, to also making something else that my art is important. I realized I have a problem when I am making art that is quote unquote important. I no longer feel like I have talent. I was like, oh no, I don't have talent. I don't have any talent. I'm not good at all. Almost because I know this needs to be good, that I almost forget that I have any talent, which I kept reminding myself like, oh Reagan, you do have talent. You're not bad. You're good. But it's kind of just the random, there's just a lot of doubt I kept dealing with because this was an important picture. So you kind of reminding myself like, you just need to work on it. Don't worry so much, because I find my work often gets worse when I have the intention of making it for something important. I struggle a lot more and get a lot more stiff and don't have as much fun with it. But I do end up breaking away from that a bit. I wasn't doing it too much for this picture, but I was still kind of doing it, which is why the colors end up looking weird for a bit. At least I think they look weird for a bit. But yeah, the flowers were also really fun to draw. It was kind of interesting drawing flowers. I don't usually draw flowers and they're a little complicated, but not like too complicated, because some flowers are one of the more easy flowers. I just have a little picture I was looking at, which here's my little inspiration board if I didn't show it already. But I was kind of like drawing drawing those. I was looking at pictures of flowers and looking at people draw them, which I had fun doing so, which they do end up getting kind of blurred later. That's why I wasn't worried too much about how I was drawing them and did end up just copying and pasting them. And for these colors, I really wanted a warm color palette, but I did end up giving her a bit of a cooler dress, but I wanted to stick with a very warm color palette, which the coloring did look what I feel like it looked bad for a bit, and I got really worried while I was doing it. I'm like, oh no, this isn't looking very good. But I just kept trying and coloring it and adding more shadows and gradients, and eventually I feel like I figured it out, and I feel like I really like this picture. I think it turned out super duper cute. I also added on like wallpaper and stuff, some little gradients, and I added on some blur and a watercolor texture. The blur really helps you to focus on the areas that are important. For example, I erased it around her face, the words, and the flowers. Everything else I kept a little more blurred, and I blurred the back of her a lot because that's not the main thing we're focusing on. It's just to make you realize that this is a mirror, not a picture. But I feel like it turned out cute, luckily. I hope that it ends up going well when I submit it, which I still need to print it and like submit it and stuff, so I need to get that done. But I do really like how this picture turned out. I feel like it turned out super cute. It was a little hard with the lighting because I wasn't completely sure what I was doing with it, but luckily I like how it turned out, and I think it turned out cute. I hope you guys like it too. Here are all the pictures I made in this video. I like how all of them turned out. Of course, I'm not a big fan of the one with the skull, but I still like it. Really like how the mouse turned out, and this one with the girl looking in the mirror. The girl looking in the mirror is my favorite, I think, but I really like the mouse one, but that's because it's a simple, cute little doodle. And I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and you guys are having a good year so far, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. Bye!